To introduce our honoree, please welcome to the stage 1999 alumnus, Senior Director at Corvus MSL Group and Corporate President of HOBY New Jersey. Please welcome Joel Payne.
Thank you to HOBY International for organizing tonight's dinner, in particular to Javier for ensuring that I could be here to partake in the event. Do something wonderful. People may imitate it. Those words were spoken by the namesake of tonight's dinner, Dr. Albert Schweitzer. I'd like to think that Dr. Schweitzer had the foresight to realize that he was talking specifically about tonight's honoree for the Alumni Achievement Award, my friend Brian Selander. Brian's accomplishments are plentiful. Rutgers University honors graduate, recipient of a master's degree from University of Pennsylvania, architect of a multi-million-dollar consulting firm by age 30, communications director for Senator Tom Carper. There are 4 other things on here. This is making me feel very, very unsure about myself, so I'm just going to stop. But you get the point. Brian is very, very accomplished. But the most relevant accomplishment for tonight's festivities are that Brian is a 1992 alum of the HOBY World Leadership Congress and of HOBY New Jersey, which we cherish him for. My research for tonight's event took me to that quote that I referenced a little earlier, because it really sums up the Brian Selander that I know. Do something wonderful, people may imitate it. Brian has done something wonderful for our ambassadors in New Jersey and all across the country every time he has addressed them over the years. Brian lights the unlit fuse in our next generation and unlocks the top-end potential that they often do not realize even exist. He challenges our most talented young people to not only question how and why, but why not. Brian has literally shaped the trajectory of thousands of young leaders in his home state of New Jersey, including the life of the former ambassador who stands before you today. As a young alum of the program, I was privileged to connect with Brian at a New Jersey HOBY seminar that he was volunteering at about a decade ago. What started as a mentorship of one HOBY alum to another developed into a lifelong friendship that I count as a true blessing. Brian was instrumental in my own personal growth and development as a young man. He helped me land a job on one of the leading presidential campaigns in 2007 and has been a trusted personal advisor since that day. But I don't view this as simply Brian helping me land a dream job. Make no mistake, Brian helped me build a career and gave me the tools to change my corner of the world and influence others, a gift that I will never be able to fully repay. I could go on for much, much longer, but for my health and safety, I've been threatened that if I exceed my 3 minutes, Javier won't let me come back next year. So I'll conclude my comments with this personal message from me to Brian. Brian, you are one of the most identifiable faces and voices of New Jersey HOBY. Your vision helps set our compass and tone, and it is impossible for me in this short time on stage to truly cover the breadth of your accomplishments and contributions. Just know that over the years, your influence and willingness to build a direct relationship with our young leaders, not only in New Jersey, but across the country, has crafted dreams, strengthened families, friendships, and communities, and saved lives. And that is no exaggeration. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us, and congratulations on your well-deserved recognition tonight. Friends, please join me in welcoming to the stage my friend and mentor and the recipient of the 2015 Alumni Achievement Award, Brian Selander.
So my HOBY story starts, as so many great HOBY stories do, on the side of the New Jersey Turnpike. At 15 years old, terrified about the fact that I had just been selected to spend 3 days at the Holiday Inn Jetport in Newark, New Jersey, which is not this ballroom. And my sainted Irish mother, who is in the front row, was nice enough when I said, I think we better pull over to avoid damage to the car. And I remember thinking, my God, HOBY has made a terrible mistake, because there is no way that I, who can't make it to Newark, New Jersey without throwing up on the side of the road, is in any way a leader to anybody. Fast forward maybe 6, 7 hours, and I find myself face-to-face with the producer from 60 Minutes. We had a chance to ask him questions, and at 15, I had some serious concerns about the way they were over-covering some scandals involving somebody running for president. And he just went at me. Like, he just decided to say, well, the real problem, my friend, is you. Because you're focused on these sort of issues and you don't really know what's going on in the world. And I said, you know, my friend, if you're the producer of 60 Minutes and it's the top-rated show in America, maybe the fact that I'm uninformed is your problem, not mine. And I went, what just came out of my mouth? And I thought, well, I haven't thrown up in hours. This is a new me. So HOBY forced me to grow up very quickly. A few months later, I found myself with a ticket. This is a thank you to the sponsors. I found myself on a U.S. Air flight to Pittsburgh. Thank you, American Airlines. To stay at a Westin at an event sponsored by Coca-Cola. I have spent so many nights in hotels building companies, in Westin's particular, that I now have lifetime status before I hit 30 at that hotel chain. Sponsoring HOBY matters. And then, you know, as life goes, you move on and you lose touch for a little while. And then I came back in 2000 to start speaking and being a facilitator at HOBY. And I didn't quite know what was so magic about it when I was a kid, except that I knew it changed my life, but I couldn't figure out why. And then I started to talk to ambassadors, and almost to every one of them, they tell the same story. And that's, you know, we're the kids that nobody really worries about, right? There's so many charities that spend their time trying to stop what's worst and trying to mitigate in some way something that's going wrong in life. Let's stop this or save this. And there's very few places that say, you know, kid, you're going to be okay. You'll be fine. We don't really have to spend any time with you. But what HOBY says is, you know what, maybe fine isn't fine. Maybe you should be more than fine. Maybe you should say at 16 years old you should write for a paper. Maybe you should be Karen Krause, and instead of spending your time after you graduate high school hanging out at the beach, you're going to get on a plane at 17 years old, fly to LA, and work for a startup. Maybe instead of just being a college student, you can go and say, like Mallory Wood did, I'm going to spend my summer biking across country, stopping at Habitat for Humanities along the way to change people's lives with my bare hands. And I wouldn't have thought about that, but I heard somebody from HOBY that did it, right? Maybe you're Chris Feltner. I don't know if you know that. That video was made by a high school HOBY alum. Can we hear it for Chris Feltner? Chris Feltner did that. He has to go back to school tomorrow. And what's most amazing about Chris is he doesn't even want to be a filmmaker. He wants to be a computer scientist. Because instead of simply being the person that films it, he wants to write the programs the filmmakers use to push things further. So what HOBY does, I'm so blessed to be on stage with honorees that have literally created billions of dollars of value and put thousands of people to work. But by the time you reach them, you're in this sort of private equity stage. I've now helped build 2 companies, and I'm focused a little more on the venture capital stage or the angel investor stage. So if you finance folks that know, angel investors are the ones that put the early money on people when there's just an idea. You know, maybe somebody could do a cab better and let me hail it by phone. Or maybe there's a better way to search than Dogpile. Maybe we should do this thing called Google. Or maybe there's a way to create a new biotechnology that saves lives. Angel investors are the ones that invest then, at the very earliest stage, when there's an idea and some hope and some promise and potential. And angel investors are the ones that say, I see massive things in the future because of this investment. And really what HOBY is the angel investment in America's human capital. For $500, you can send somebody to HOBY and say, I don't care how racked with fear or anxiety you are. I don't care if you're on the side of the road. I think you can be better than you know you can be. For $500, you can change that life. And people say, yeah, but you know, you're not curing cancer. Well, you know, that picture of me up there with the center part, because that was big in '92. And those were the smallest classes you could buy in '92. Elaine, who was 2 over, she went on from her HOBY experience to get a PhD from Hopkins and is now the principal scientist in oncology for Merck. She is literally curing cancer because somebody spent that $500 to send her to a HOBY seminar. So I'm a very, very lucky person that somebody believed in me to get me into HOBY. I'm an even luckier person that they let me come back and talk. And I am so blessed for each and every one of you, for your friendship, for your trust, and for your involvement in HOBY. Thank you so much.